Hi guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic Channel. Hope you are having a fantabulous day. And today I wanted to take a look at a building in New York called the Dilton, and just a bit of a look at the story of its construction, and also just the facade on this thing is pretty amazing. And this is it that you can see in front, and you can also see it's got this big cutaway and a nice big arch out the front there. So it's a pretty amazing looking building. So yeah, today we're going to look at the Dilton in New York City, corner of Broadway and 71st Street, I think. Alright guys, let's jump into this. Okay, so here we are. This is Condopedia, and this is the Dilton. And just a bit of information. This is another building called the Dakota, and this is the Dilton here, and you can see the arch. I'll show you some more pictures in a minute. So it says it opened in 1902. It prompted a wide range of responses and critiques described as the architectural equivalent of a fistfight by Christopher Gray at the New York Times. I have no idea who he is. Developed by Hamilton M. Weed, the building was a gamble on the success of the BMT Broadway line, as a line would ultimately include a stop at the door of the Dilton. So it's saying that it was finished in 1902, and basically the guy who built it, this Hamilton M. Weed, was basically betting the success on the fact that a railway line would be built down to it, because back then, New York there wasn't as many people, and it was sort of, it says it was on the Upper West Side, and it was a bit out of the way. So to make it feasible, he needed this Broadway line, the tram line, I think it is, or a train line. But that wasn't actually adopted until 1907. So the story is a bit backwards. If the train line was out there first, then obviously you would, put all this money, because it cost him like $2 million or something back in 1900. And yeah, he's built it there, put all this work in. This is the story, just on the hope that they do build this railway line, and then it took them another 6 years to do it. So I just found that interesting. Now, it is located at the intersection of 71st West Street and Broadway. It finds itself in the heart of the Upper West Side, a residential neighbourhood with a reputation for attracting workers from the arts and culture industries. Originally called the Bloomingdale District, the Upper West Side has been primarily a residential neighbourhood throughout the history, with industrial activity located along the Hudson River. So it's saying it was built up in a nice residential area, and the story is that it was built as an apartment building. So the Dilton stands a mere 12 stories, but its impressive ornamentation and decorative elements give the illusion of a much grander scale. Continuing the pattern begun with the Alomar, Jane and Leo designed a building with a limestone base followed by a red brick and terracotta exterior facade, topped with a copper and slate mansard roof. Okay, this is in 1900. They started in 1899, finished in 1902. So here we go. Construction in 1899. Developer Hamilton M. Weed purchased the land for $275,000 with plans to erect the 12-story residential building. Then it says, some critics and historians have called the building one of the most impressive examples of Beaux Arts architecture in New York City. Construction began in 1900 and was completed in 1902. $1 million at the cost of $750,000. So 2 years, guys. 2 years they built this. Then it says, it originally operated as a rental building and proved to be very popular right from the time of its opening in 1902, even though there was no train, which he was said needed to be done for it to be a success. Eventually, after the Great Depression, it went into foreclosure, was sold at auction in 1938. Building fell into a state of neglect, and I guess it stood there empty until 1984, where they put in extensive restoration work. So basically, built, $1 million back in 1900, built in 2 years, and then 36 years later, it was closed, and it sat there for 50 years. Pretty strange. Especially, it's just such an amazing building when you look at it. So up here it says the location, where is it? Okay, yeah, so however, plans for extending the Upper West Line were not adopted till 1907, so he was far ahead of his time when he purchased the land on the corner of Broadway and 71st in 1899. It should be noted that this land and its surrounding area was largely undeveloped at that time. Okay, largely undeveloped, and in fact the Dakota, which is this building here, located only blocks away from the Dilton, inherited its name from the fact that it was so far away from the rest of the city that its residents may as well be in the Dakota Territory. So this is harking back to this train, why they needed a train line out there. It didn't go in, but this was apparently called the Dakota, but this one, just blocks away, was a booming success from the start. So that is the story. Now this is New York architecture, and this has just got some really good pictures of it. So this is what we're talking about. The facade on this building is just... So yeah, this is New York architecture, and this is some of the facade of the Dilton. And as you can see here, this is two men, statues, holding up this balcony. Of course, we have these, I don't even know what these are called, the keystones as well. Keystones here, the port windows, which obviously have to do with boats, portholes, portals, who knows. The arches, this sort of work they do. And even just in here, just look at all the intricate work in here. And this is all done 2 years, guys. 2 years they built this. There's the copper roof. And you can see the whole thing is just done, just covered in just art, basically. Look at it, and even this bit here, it actually pops out at the front, which is just extra work. Just to do that is just so much extra work. I'm not quite sure what's going on, why this is not symmetrical. Bit weird, you don't normally see that. See how this has got small windows in the middle, and this doesn't seem to have them, and so it's... that may be retrofitting, that may be because they turned it all into apartments, and that just doesn't look like, the building you'd build for apartments, does it? So look at this thing, built in 2 years. Here's that bit that pops out, and as you can see, more statues down here. These are all statues standing up here. Everything is covered. See, here's some of them. Got these gargoyle-y type things down here. And just look at the work. The intricacy of everything. And it's a red brick building, obviously. Even just that top bit, look at that, how it curves in. And so I'm not sure how this white, because we see this a lot, this white brick or this white covering. I'm not sure what it is, slate or marble or limestone. But is that part of? Because you can see it on the windows too. I don't know. Is it some kind of resistor? How they kind of resist, slow down. ambient energy that they're using. I mean, I don't know. It looks like a lot of work to go to just for the look. I mean, it looks very cool, but I'm just wondering if there's another function just to the way they're laying the bricks as well. Because even here, just this sort of, we've got the lines of red brick there. There was something like this on another video I did. There was a star fort with it, and it can't remember where it was, but it had this kind of layering as well. Went from red brick to white brick to red brick to white brick. See this round bit here, just popping up the side there. Look at that. And another thing about the way this has been built is to build it in like this bit that goes in, a lot more bricks, a lot more time, a lot more money, a lot more effort, and you end up with less space to make money. They're saying this was built to make money for apartments. I mean, look at this. This is just classic. We've got the balls here. We've got the little angel dudes, cherubs, whatever they are. It's just covered. Look, it's just covered. The amount of work they've done. Yeah, this bit. See, they've just lost all this space for their apartment building, for their apartments, which there's not very good business sense. And again, look at this stuff. I don't think I can zoom in much further, but you can see these are faces. It's looking very, Phoenician-y. We've got gargoyles and stuff and fish symbolism. Yeah, so there's some pictures of the Dilton. Now, I did find this. This is the old interactive map of New York City, where you can click on all the different addresses. And this is the address, West 71st Street and what was it, Broadway, and the west side of Amsterdam. So this is just one of the old, are they called brownstones? I think this is what they refer to as the brownstones. So you can see here, nice mud flutter. Steps going up, windows going into the ground. This one's even going below the ground. So the classic sort of old architecture we can see everywhere. There's a few more pictures of these, but what I did find very interesting was this one. This is 1905, guys. Amsterdam Avenue, north from, but not including 71st Street, showing the northern extreme of Sherman Square. The view also shows Broadway from north. So this is the area, 71st and Broadway. And let us have a look, because remember, it told us that this area was not built up in, what was it, it was definitely 1902 and that they were saying there was hardly anything in this area. It said, it's right here, it should be noted that this land and its surrounding area was largely undeveloped at the time, 1899, okay? This is 4 or 5? 1905. And look at this. This is the area where the building is. You can actually see it right there. Oh, come on, zoom, what are you doing to me? Here. Okay, and look at this. Undeveloped. That's what they're telling us, largely undeveloped. This is the building, the Dilton. We've got the tram lines up. Now this is 1905. They told us the trams didn't go until 1907, so what is this doing here? And look, this is just built out the whole way down. I mean, massive vanilla sky here, and it almost looks like it's been smudged out this bit, but you can clearly see this is not underdeveloped. And if they are trying to say that all of this was built in what between 1899 and 1905, 6 years, including putting the trams in, I mean, come on. what kind of a silly story is that? Largely undeveloped. And you can see this is clearly completely built out. Completely built out. All the same style, all the same architecture, all red brick. And again, I mean, you can't, it's not the best photo, but there's not that many people around for all these buildings. And here's just some photos of, there is a plan of like a floor plan. It just really shows you how all the, how they cut it up into apartments. And, you know, we've got, here's these guys holding up the balcony again. But, of course, there's hardly any pictures of it even back in the day. Get a couple. And no construction photos. You know, if I put in here construction, they just don't exist. And the thing is, the first photo was taken in 1827. And by 1830s, you know, they had cameras and things. Definitely by the 1850s, you know, there were photographers. You could take photos fairly easily. This is described as, you know, one of the best examples of the, what was it, the Beaux Art style. But of course, no photos. The drilled in New York construction, no construction photos. Just nothing. Like, so it's a bit silly. But I did find this picture. Now this is pretty cool. This is the building here. This is the Dilton with the big cutaway. And again, look at this place. It's completely built out. Got the trams here. People just on horse and carts. Okay, so this is, you know, pretty much the time that it was built. So the story they're giving us, this would be brand new in this photo. Look at this building. Look at all the antiquitech up there. Obviously it's been affected, this photo, but even just the side here, got a big steeple pole coming off the side, and just this unnecessary architecture for this many people. Like, what are they doing in all these buildings? I'm guessing this has got something to do with the subway. I'll have to look into when that was built, because that definitely, you know, looks like you go underground with that. And again, look at the size of the arch there and the doorway, and they've filled it in to make it smaller. But just that building, like, how excessive is that entranceway for it? You know, dirt roads, no diesel engines, no electricity for, you know, machines, but they're building buildings like this. And you can see it's just so symmetrical. It's just perfectly done. I mean, look at these, just so, everything's just, it's like, I mean, to get this perfect in 2 years, I just don't believe. I mean, it would take you 2 years or more just to do the facade, and that would be with a team of the best artisans you could find and everything they needed at their disposal. And again, you can just see the symmetry, like, you know, just the way they do the windows here, completely on top, this in the middle, you know, all this work, masonry work around the edge. You know, these two look like windows, and this is a balcony, and then all the way down here. It's just, I mean, there's no way we could do this today. And to do this in 2 years, you know, it's quite unbelievable, really, isn't it? And look at this picture. This is what they're saying. You know, there was nothing there. But look at this thing. This is just as big. So clearly, there's problems with the story they're telling us here. And, you know, apart from the fact that the tram's here already, and I'll have to look into this more. If you know more about this, you know, is that the underground? Is that what the underground what are they called? I don't know, stations, or, the access points to the underground. Is that what they look like in New York? But you can see it's 1905, was it 05? And there's no cars anywhere, still pre-car. So you can see this is all the tech they had to build this. This is what they're saying they built with horse and carts, and there's just nothing around, that, like, if this is a new city and they're saying this was all built in 5 years, which obviously we know that's silly and it's not true. But if that's the story, there would be construction stuff everywhere around here, There just would be. There'd be workers. These guys are all in suits. I mean, everything was built by the Irish and Chinese, wasn't it? So where are all they? But it's just shots like this. You get a story on a website, and it's just completely different to what the pictures show you. So clearly, the story they're giving us is not true. His story is not our story, guys. It's just silly. Quite silly. And here's another shot from, this would be circa 1900, when it's pretty much brand new. You can see it's just a huge building. And you can see on this side and down the street here, it looks all built out, but I'm not sure what's on in front here. Of course, dirt roads, and it looks like they're excavating or, tram lines or something out the front here. I'm not really sure, can't see that well. But, just an amazing building and just unnecessary. Like, look at this thing. Whoa. This is all copper, and to put an apartment in, and like I said before, to lose all this space is just a bit silly if you're building it for apartments. But the grandeur of this thing, and of course, we know what it is. It's got Antiquitech stuff all over it. No construction photos. Built in 2 years like they all are. And just look at this thing. Completely symmetrical. Looking like, almost like, like the arches, like the Arc de Triomphe or something. It just happens to have a back on it. Here's just a bit more of the, the facade. It's just absolutely covered. Just everywhere. And just all this kind of floretty leaf kind of stuff here, laurel leaves and things, wreaths, keystones everywhere. I mean, just to go to this amount of work is just, almost unbelievable. But to say that you can do this in 2 years in 1900, dirt roads, no cranes, limited skilled labour, they could do this kind of stuff I'm talking about. I'm sure they had a ton of bricklayers and stonemasons and things and iron workers, but just the level of, artistry, and it's the level of artistry in these buildings. It's just amazing. So there you go, guys. That was the Dilton in New York City. Hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks for spending some time with me. As usual, all the links will be in the description, as well as links to my Facebook, Instagram, and if you'd like to support this channel, there's also some merchandise down there, and I am working on some more things to get a bit more value out to you guys. So yeah, have a fabulous day, and I shall catch you on the next upload. Bye for now.